and welcome to another Hero Arts video. It's Sherry Carroll here to show you a Christmas tree idea using your buttons and pearls. I've used some of my favorite basic gray papers and clear buttons to make a really nice textured looking Christmas tree. I'll start the process off by using some of my scrap basic gray papers and some clear buttons from Hero Arts. Each of our Hero Hues packs does have a translucent colored button, and it's nearly clear but not quite. Plus we have a pack of fully clear buttons. So here I'm using my Glossy Accents, and I'll just shake it down into the tip, and I'm just using a circular motion to get the glue onto the paper. And once I have enough of the Glossy Accents down, then I'll just go ahead and press my button in. And then I can move on and add more Glossy Accents and more buttons. Now that my Glossy Accents has had a chance to dry, I can go ahead and cut out my buttons. So I'm just using a really small tip scissors, and I'm letting it just guide around. I'm just pressing on the side of the button and cutting as I go, and it makes it really easy to cut out. This would be much harder if you used a larger scissor, so the smaller your scissor, the better. I'll just get this one little edge. And the next thing I like to do is, if I didn't cut it perfectly round, I'll just get an emery board or a fingernail file and just go ahead and sand that off, and that'll give you a really nice clean edge when you're all done. Since I'll be threading my buttons with some twine, I want to poke some holes through, and I'm just using my pokey tool here, and I'll just go ahead and poke through the paper just enough so that I can go ahead and thread it. And now I'll show you the NoSew method. I have my twine here, and I'll just go ahead and thread this through in the buttonholes. And I'll just grab a little bit on the back side, and I'll be giving this a little twist. And next I'll be grabbing a glue dot and just pressing that on. I'll grab a couple. And so what you want to do is twist your thread or your twine and just press it into the glue dot. Once that's pressed in and secure, you can go ahead and snip off the excess. And now your button looks threaded from the front. I've cut a little triangle from some plain white cardstock just to use as the base of my Christmas tree, and now I can start arranging my buttons in place. So I'll start with some glue dots, and I'll just press the button onto the glue dot. I want to place these randomly, so I stagger the colors. So I'll start with a little blue one, and next I'll pick up a larger, more beige one, and I'll go ahead and add a glue dot to the back. On the larger buttons, you may want to add 2 glue dots. And decide where I want to place this. Maybe I want this a little bit further down. Once I decide, then I can go ahead and press that in place. And then I can move on to more buttons. And now that I have my buttons in place, I'll be using my Glossy Accents to glue down my larger Hero Arts dots. So I'll just go ahead and add a few drops. I'll grab my dot that does not have an adhesive on the back. I'll go ahead and press that in place. And now I can use my pokey tool and do some readjustments if I need. I think it's easier if you start with your larger pieces first, and then you can fill in with smaller pieces as you go. And now I'll add a little more Glossy Accents, and I can place this dot right in this little crevice in between these buttons, and then press that in place. So here's how my tree's looking so far. Now I can start adding my pearls. So I'll make sure everything's pressed in place, and I'll start by snipping my pearls in between the glue line. And I can just grab these. Oh, I'll put this one right on the button, and that'll hide the buttonhole. But I can put these right into the small spots. I like to continue on, and I snip in between a bunch of pearls at the same time so that I can just go ahead and grab them off the substrate when I need them. So once I have those snipped, I can just keep placing my pearls in place. And at this point, I can use my pokey tool once again, and I can move this around. I'm letting these pearls and dots and buttons go off the edge of the Christmas tree in some spots and then not in others, because I think the imperfect look looks the best. Now these are the tiny pearls, and I'll go ahead and place these in yet smaller areas. So here's another peek at my tree. You can see how I filled in all the crevices with the pearls and the dots. And now for the card making. So I've used my Merry Christmas background here with soft sand ink, and I've just stamped onto a panel of white cardstock. So I have my finished tree, and I've put some adhesive on. I've also put a tree trunk of craft paper on there and a little double bow with my twine. So I'll set that aside, and I've created a couple snowbanks, which is some white cardstock. So I'll set my snowbank down, and I'll use my tree as a guide to show me where I want this. So I'll go ahead and pull this down. Now I can go ahead and add some adhesive to the back. And once I have that ready, I can go ahead and place this under my tree trunk and press it in place. Now I can go ahead and press my tree in place, since I already have adhesive on it, and I can add my second snowbank. So I'll go ahead and put my adhesive on this, and that will go on like this. Okay, now I've trimmed off the bottom part of the snowbank so that it matches the card, and now I can just adhere this to a regular white note card. So go ahead and run my adhesive around all four sides and a little bit in the middle. I do want to add some more sparkle and shine to this, so I'm using my rock candy stickles, and I'll just go ahead and follow along the line of the snowbank. And as one last final touch, I have some felt snowflakes here, and I've cut off the tops because I do want them to look like they've come from off the edge. So I've cut off a little bit off the top, and I'm using my Glossy Accents, and I'll just go ahead and press these in place. And for my final finishing touch, I'll use my rock candy stickles to follow along the lines of the snowflake. And then I'll add a couple pearls to the centers. And here's another look at my finished Christmas tree. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and please visit us at www.heroarts.com for more inspiration and ideas. Thanks for watching!